What is up, guys? Chewys is back here today, guys. And today, guys, I want to talk about Sea of Thieves. If you guys were watching my live stream this past week, and you know I've been playing it quite a bit. I've been loving the game, but I've been noticing quite a few flaws with it, and I want to talk about it today. Now, first thing I want to say before I even get into this video, the base gameplay content of the game can be really fun. But is it worth the $60 asking price? I'm just going to tell you a straight up no right now. Unfortunately, even with how much fun you can get from the game currently, the lack of a need to actually play is kind of hurting the game a lot. And especially since they're asking for $60 to get invested into this game, it feels like you're really overcharging for what it feels to be an early access game. If you guys don't know what early access is, it's basically you get access to a game early on when it's early in development, whereas this has the base fundamentals of the gameplay mechanics in, and you're basically a beta tester for them, and you're paying for them to actually keep the studio running and going so they can keep trying to get the game finished. Kind of like how Minecraft is, but Minecraft evolved into its whole new thing where it's actually a complete game, but they're just constantly adding updates to it. But yeah, it's basically the core idea of you just invest into a game early on when it's just starting off in development, and you just help keep development going. But with the base gameplay core mechanics of sailing and just sailing the seas with your friends, it can be really fun. But the real issue of the game starts to become the lack of player urgency, the lack of need to grind, the lack of trying to grind, honestly. Because when this game was first coming out, I actually tried to avoid it. A lot of the times, the reason why I wanted to avoid it, because I wanted it to be special when the game came out. I wanted to be surprised at it. So going into the game without having any beta experience or even alpha experience, it was completely fresh to me. So what I noticed when I was in the game was there is no real need to grind. Now, they mentioned there's an endgame content in the game where you get prior legend, which you have to get like 50 in all the factions in the game, which is quite a big grind, to be honest. I've spent about 6, probably about 12 hours or so grinding so far. I've only gotten to about 15 in all of my stats, which really feels like a lot, but the problem becomes the fact of there's no real benefit from grinding currently. There's no like increase in like stuff you get. Like you get the balloons, which allow you to buy cosmetic items. But I've said this before with my opinion on Destiny. If you ever caught my opinion on Destiny, is a lack of ability added to anything you grind for is kind of really unnecessary. What I mean is, if you get a cosmetic item, right? Oh, it's nice and pretty, but does it do anything for you? Why do you want to grind for that? Sure, it looks pretty, but at the end of the day, if it's a flower and it smells the same, it's gonna play the same. You know what I mean? I feel like this game, when it comes down to it, needs to add in player-driven urgency. What I think they could do, and some simple mechanics they could add to this, because I feel like not looking at the PvP side of this, because I think the PvP side of this, how they balanced it is fun. It doesn't feel overpowering to the player. It doesn't feel unfair, especially if someone put more hours into the game versus like a new player who just got out of his first tavern. He's not going to get dumpstered right away. But if they added something that can help you in PvE to make the grind a little bit better and a lot more fun, and that way you also have smaller things to grind for in between the big grind for getting Pirate Legend. My idea for this is to add in-game items such as probably a light sword. If you don't know, there's different enemy types in the game, but what, in my opinion, the light sword would do is basically you charge it up with the lantern, and it'll give your sword a charge of so-and-so, and let's say it gives you like 10 charges. So for 10 shadow skeletons, you can basically shine it in the skeleton's face and get rid of that shadow shield. And that way, it gives you an item that makes the grind a little bit better for you. and that way it can be a bit more fun in the in-game content. So like you can get a better light sword, have more charges stored on it for dealing with the shadow skeletons, or you can get a water sword and store up water charges on it. And then you can even increase that further by actually making the bucket be able to carry more water, or even have the lantern be able to charge faster. Or just simple mechanics like this could honestly make the PvE a lot more fun and less of a really hard grind, and make you feel like you're actually earning something. Because the problem I feel like is the main issue of the game is the fact that the grind just feels too grindy. Like, it feels like you're trying to shoot for the end game content and nothing else. Like, the problem isn't that cosmetics are bad, but the problem is the cosmetics don't really add anything to the game. Sure, you look pretty, but it doesn't change your overall experience of the game. And I think that hurts the game most of all. So if you were to add in these in-game items and make it so you can actually have more to do and more to earn, I feel like the game overall could easily be a $60 game. Easily. But there needs to be more content in between the end game content and the current content now. And I think that's what's hurting the game the most. So I just wanted to talk a little bit, guys. I know I'm a bit all over the place because it's not really organized in any way or fashion. I just really wanted to talk about Sea of Thieves and what I think of the game as it is currently. I honestly would give the game, if I was going to give it a rating, a 6 out of 10. Because the base gameplay mechanics, as well as the way they built the game around teamwork, I feel like makes it really fun, especially with friends. I haven't tried the solo player side of it, but I really don't feel like this game really promotes the solo play side of it, because there's so much you have to do with piloting a ship and getting quests done and completed, that it's more leaning towards a team-based game of you want to go out with your pirate crew and conquer the 7 seas. But I honestly think this game could be a 10 out of 10 if they just fix these core issues of the fact of there's no reason to grind for the end game content, or nothing to earn as you grind for that end game content. And the thing is, we don't even know exactly what the end game content is now. As far as I know, currently no one's been able to reach Pirate Legend. So what are we shooting for? We're shooting for end game content we don't even know anything about. And like I said, I don't know anything else about this game other than what I've played. So before anyone says someone reached end game level and knows what it is, I like I said, I don't know personally. I want to make sure that's clear because I've been chewed out for silly stuff like that before. But other than that, guys, 6 out of 10 game. Don't buy it currently. I hope they can fix the game because there is still a few bugs that are kind of critical in the game, but I won't go over those because I just wanted to go over some simple improvements, such as adding in-game items that can make the PvE side of the game a little bit less of a grind and make you feel like you're getting some sort of impact as you're grinding in the game for that Pirate Legend rank. Well, guys, that's my opinion on Sea of Thieves. I know it's a bit of a different video today. I just wanted to try this and see what you guys think. If you guys would like me to do this for more games in the future, please let me know in the comments below. I also want to give you a heads up before this video ends that I am currently working on editing that machinima I was telling you guys about. It's kind of like that skit I did with Jared and Relic. We did a Power Ranger thing. I thought it was pretty cool. If you guys haven't seen it, I'll make sure to put that video in the description down below. That way you can get an idea what the machinima is kind of going to look like. But I hope you guys are going to be ready for it. It's going to come out a little bit later this week because I still got to record some voices for it. But hopefully I can get it out. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And remember, guys, to keep on chewing, and I'll keep on slaying. See all of you guys on the next video. Bye-bye!